All right, it's been months in the making. No words. I'm so excited. The shop is just damn near all the way complete. I couldn't be happier right now. This thing is just up and going. So I'm in the garage right now. Behind me is the extra bay that we converted. And so without further ado, let's go take a look and check it out. And here we are into the new workspace that will be the pinnacle of the bait making and all that good stuff. Let's close the door so we don't disturb the rest of the garage, if you will. So I'm standing back in the corner. As you can see, we have the workstation set up over here. We've got the good old bandsaw back up and running. I just have it kind of mounted here loosely, if you will, because I don't want the I'm not sure if that's the exact place I want to put the screws and stuff right down here yet. So we'll see. Down on the other end, we've got the sander, all ready to go. Not too critical that it's there, but I do like the position that they're kind of separated. The two, one's there, one's here. The other part is the air ports, right, for vacuuming and cleaning. So I want to get those set up. At some point, I just got to buy the right stuff. So got a pegboard we put up back there in the corner with a bunch of little knickknacks, all the little bracket vices, grips, clamps, all that good stuff that we could need, plus some extra extension cords, lights, hammers, saws, blah, 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 blah. On this side, we have the old DeWalt chop saw. This is temporary. It has this, metal bracket, if you can see that. I'm playing with a new gimbal thing that I got, so it's a little bit difficult to get the right angles sometimes. But as you can see, the chop saw's there. Let me get this screen back going so that I can use it for what I need to for now. Wow, there we go. Take a little bit of manual control. So it's working. There's nothing wrong with it. I want to build a cabinet here that will be extra storage, number one, and number two, it'll act as a dust collection system for this, and it'll make it where it's just kind of basically at this same position, but then I can hook the shop vac over here, back up over here to be able to create all the dust collection stuff that I want. So over here, I have another workbench. I built this one just like I built the one behind me. This will be where I do a lot of my painting. Built this with some pegboard. I got my old handy dandy light that I used in the other place there, so we get some good focus light right there on the workbench. It's just there. It is. It's a workbench, and underneath, as you can see, I got some storage down there with some extra tools and stuff for later use. If you want to look at it that way, we use them all the time, right? So over here, we have these two storage units, this one over here and this one over here. I got both of these free off of Facebook. People were just getting rid of them. They're really nice. They're big. They're just good. There's a little bit of a gap on this one, but I don't really care as much as anything. I'm just trying to keep the dust, the majority of it, isolated to this area over here. And in doing that, it'll keep the amount of dust I was getting on everything down to a minimum. So then we have another one over here, and this one is just full of all the extra fishing gear, all that good grande bass stuff. It's got some of the airsoft stuff that my son and I are doing. Plus it's got some baits that I've made back in here, painted, along with some of the good old dirty jigs and stuff like that. So this is it. This is the new bait station, lure central, I don't know what you want to call it, but this is where we're going to be doing all the good stuff. So with that, now it's time to get back to bait making. It's time to get back to painting. It's time to get back to all that good stuff. So today, really quick, just to go with this video and the introduction to the new shop, we'll paint a quick bait and we'll kick this sucker off right. So let's get to it. All right, first bait in the new shop, it's going to be a square bill because I just, you know me, I dig the square bills. Plus, I'm trying to think of something that's going to be a little bit bright. You know, it's winter. It's mucky out there. The weather's turning. You know, it's finally, hopefully, we're gonna get some rain here soon. So I want to paint something that really pops and will be very visible, even in that dirty, dingy water. You know, to those fish, and they can see it from a good distance and come chasing for it. Now, normally, you know, people will throw dark baits, they'll throw natural baits. I'm going to go with something just a little bit fun. You know, kind of a natural pattern, but with some bright colors, and we'll see what comes of it. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just hit that with a white base coat, and then from there we'll start the process of picking some unusual colors and giving this sucker some pop. All right, so we got this all primed up white now. Should be ready to go for some colors. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is that, here we detach this camera real fast, is one of the bigger changes we made in here to the new shop is this up here. See that line, that orange line? So that comes down to the regulator and stuff. That's the air compressor line. The air compressor is actually in the other part of the garage. So now, even though it's still loud, I can hear it when it kicks on. It's not nearly as loud as the other one was, being right there close. And on top of that, the good part is it's not taking up any room over here. We can still use it for over there if I'm working on cars or something like that. But it's out of the area over here, so when it does kick on, it'll be less. It's still loud. It's an air compressor, but at least it's not over here. Anyway, so back to the bait here. So we got this sucker just about ready to go. Still not 100% sure what colors I'm going to use on this thing, but you know, it'll be what it's going to be, right? So we got it white. Let's figure out our colors and move on to the next step. All right, we got that flesh tone on there. Got a good color. Now I'm gonna use this because I want to mask that flesh tone off. And so I'm gonna mask it off to just get a little subtle kind of scale pattern. And then we're gonna come back over it with this wicked pearl lime green. This stuff is just popping. This is gonna be the primary color of the bait. So let's get this scale pattern. Now I didn't do that super tight because I'm really only worried about the top back. So I'm just going to quickly hit this with a little bit of white. Okay, perfect. We're going to heat set this. See how you can still kind of subtly see it there. We're going to heat set this, then we're going to hit it with this pearl lime. Little pro tip for you guys: if your paints and stuff have been setting, like mine have been, and it's the winter time, they're gonna be junked up. You need to shake the heck out of them. I brought all my paints in, that whole tote over there. I brought it inside the house to warm up, and then I shook a lot of them up, not all of them, but the ones I knew I was gonna be using so that they would be a little bit better to go. But you know, you get some of these have the BB in them. If you can feel that BB that marble come loose, you know that that's good. And then just give it that good shake. Probably about a minute or two, just to get everything kind of moving again and get all that the different parts in that paint mixed back up. we got that heat set now. I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute more, hit it with maybe one more quick heat set before we pull that material off of there. Kind of melted away anyway. That's the downside of using this loofah sponge crap from your bedroom or your bathroom. And I know it shifted a little bit, which probably is going to mean it didn't turn out 100% the way I liked it or wanted it. There's some good stuff on the side there. Oh, that ain't bad. In fact, it gave it a little bit of a 3D effect. So that's actually really good. I'm happy with that. So next we're going to come back. Got that nice little scale pattern, subtle transition from that pinkish red up top down into that white on the underbelly. Next we're going to come back. I'm going to hit this with some pearl white. Maybe hit just along the back with some moss green, and then probably a little bit of orange. Just a really, really subtle little bluegill pattern. But this, along with the pearl white, is really going to make that pop. And we're going to do a little bit of a bigger, in fact, we're going to go red on the belly, not even orange. We'll go red. That'll really give it a little bit more of a kind of pop to the bait itself. All that's left now is the eyes. Got a big bag of eyes over here. These are 6 millimeters. I do remember that much. I may not know where all my stuff is, but I did happen to find the eyes earlier, so that makes it pretty easy. I think we want to go with a yellow eye on this bait. I really believe a yellow eye would look the best. I like this yellow eye. There we go. The eyes are on. Let that sit for a minute and we'll get ready to clear coat it. All right, we've got the old Illuma UV. Got to get this masking tape off of here. Should be set up plenty good now to go ahead and dip it. I'm gonna dip it, let it sit for a couple of minutes just to let some of the excess drip off of there. It's not, you don't have to. Probably get a harder, thicker coat, if you will, if you just went ahead and hung it immediately in the UV chamber. But I like to do one coat, then I like to do a little bit of a fine, very, very, very light sanding over the bait after the first coat, and then put a second coat on there, and that makes it just really, really pop. So this is pretty self-explanatory. Hook, bait, dip. Nice and slowly, and submerging everything, including that bill. Then I'm going to slowly pull it up and let that drip begin. Now, like I said, I'm going to let this drip for a couple of minutes. I'm actually going to hang it to let it drip, and then we'll get it in the UV chamber, and then we'll come right back here in a few minutes and show you that finished product. Down in there, I redid the hanging devices for this, put some alligator clips on there so it'll be a lot easier, and that bait looks like it's coming along pretty good. We're gonna give it a few more minutes in the old UV chamber to get good and cooked up, and then hopefully we'll be ready to come back for the big reveal on the final bait for the first new bait in the new shop here, and yeah, we'll see how it turned out. All right, let's get the light on. Should be good to go. All right, here we go. Put these lights off. Let's see what we got. Flip this thing back down here. There we go. Got this new arm, friction arm. It's really good, real stable. Oh man, that's so smooth. This is always a little bit tricky. Be careful when you do this, because if you pop it out or use pliers, you could potentially scratch the paint job. And, you know, that wouldn't be good. I'm trying to do it without using pliers. And we're gonna fail at that, so we gotta get some pliers. That wire's pretty thin, which means it doesn't give a lot of stability for grabbing a hold of it. I just gotta be careful to pull it out without scratching it. There we go. I still got some cleanup to do here, but man, that thing looks really good. A little bubble there in the clear, but that's all right. I'm digging it. That sucker will get bit. That pearl red really looks good on the belly. Yeah. Nice and glassy clear coat. You can see that reflection. Man, that's nice. Well, all right, there you have it. The first video from the new shop. Bait turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I dig the way it looks. I think it's a fish catcher. We'll find out, of course. But hope you enjoyed it. Hope it's informative. I hope you guys are digging the new shop. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. You know, I still need a drill press. I'd love to get a lathe, you know, to turn some wood and do some, you know, some bigger baits that way, some topwater baits. But hey, you know, it's a limited space, so we can only do as much as we got room for. I am going to add another rolling table like this one with a table saw on it. That way I can do some bigger projects around the house and stuff, which, you know, that's just one of those things that every good wood shop should have, but that'll come with time as well. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, sticking with me during this move and the transition into this new shop. I mean, come on, look at this place. We're gonna be able to build some awesome stuff in here. So once again, thanks for checking us out. We'll see you next video.